Okay, hi there. Welcome to the week 2 practical part. So what I'm going to do is just go back to the week 1 patch and live project. So I've got that here. I've downloaded that from week 1 on Blackboard. Here, the live project and Max for Live device. And I'm just going to open that up. Alright, so what we had is our random note generator here. Okay, so if we press play, then we should get various things happening. So let's increase the randomness of this. Okay, so what we can do is we can hook up a MIDI controller to this. So if we do Command M or click on MIDI here, and we can hook up a MIDI controller. So let's just do that. I'm going to have a look on my system and just check that my MPK49, that's my MIDI controller, and that is on and remote. So we should be able to get some sliders and link those up like so. And let's do that one. Okay, and oh, didn't mean to close it. And there we go. That's changing nicely there, and that's changing nicely there. Okay, good. Right, next thing is I'm going to open this up. So let's do a save as first. Let's save this as I'm going to save this in week 2. So let's change this to week 2 and save. Okay, and then I'm going to open this up. So what we want to do now is make this a little bit more playable. So I'm going to, what I want to do is be able to play this using the keyboard. And also, rather than random notes coming out, is make notes come out that belong to a particular scale. Okay, so in order to do this, what we're going to do firstly, well, let's save this first. So I'm going to go save as, and I'm going to save this in week 2 with in this folder here. If I got something in there, okay, let's just save it. Let's just save it here as week 2. Okay. Now then, so yeah, what I want to do is any note that gets kicked out here, I want that to belong to a particular scale so that it's less random. Okay, so what I'm going to do is firstly, I'm just going to confine everything so it's within a 1 octave. Okay, and the way we do that is using the modulo object. And what that does is that divides by the argument here and kicks out the remainder. So if we do modulo 12, we can only ever have whatever number we put into this, we only ever get out a number that's between 0 and 11, because that will be the remainder when we divide by 12. Yeah? Okay, so basically if we want to turn a number with a big range into a circular range, then we use modulo. Okay, so we're going to do that instead. So let's take that from here. Okay, then what we want to do is confine to a major scale. So we're going to use something called col. And we're going to give it the argument scale. So that's just the name of the set of data. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that if we have a 0 coming out of here, we want a 0 to pass through is fine, because that can represent the first note in our major scale. Okay, if we have a, let's use a key slider to illustrate this. Okay, so what we want is a C major effectively coming out of here. So the first note is a C, corresponds to 0. Okay, if we have a 1, that's a C sharp. We don't want that in our major scale because a C major, remember, is just the white notes. So we're going to bring that back to 0. If we get a 2, that's fine. If we get a 3, that's not so cool. So we bring that back to 2. Okay, and so on. Alright, so what we need to do here, first thing, is to make sure that anything we put into col gets saved with the patcher. So we're going to go into the inspector and save data with the patcher. Okay, that's the first thing. Now we can double click on col. Okay, and we can start editing. So what we're going to say is, first thing, if we get a 0, then output a 0. That's fine. Okay, and then end of line semicolon. If we get a 1, output a 0. Okay, if we get a 2, output a 2. If we get a 3, output a 2. If we get a 4, that's fine, that's a major third, so 4 is cool. If we get a 5, okay, where are we here? We're on the 4th, so that's also cool. Okay, if we get a 6, the devil's interval, not so good, let's make that a 5. If we get a 7, that's fine. If we get an 8, not so good, we'll make that a 7. Get a 9, that's fine. 11, 10 I missed. That's not so good, we'll make that a 9. And if we get an 11, then that's okay. We'll get an 11. Okay. Now, good idea when you're working with col is just to do that, select and copy, and then save when you close. Now, if we double click on that, that data should be there, which it is. If it's not, you can paste it back in. Okay. So now, what we should do is we should only have the white notes coming out of here. Okay. And let's make this K slider. Let's just give it 12 notes. And then we need to make 0 offsets. Okay, good. Now let's start live. Speed it up a bit. Okay, so we're seeing that's working fine, but we're not hearing it. So what we're going to do is just come to here and do that. Now, okay, all good, but it doesn't sound great. We need to put in a, we need to transpose it. Transpose, very easy. We have a plus, we just add a value on. Okay, and then we can make this, we can make a live.numbox. And we can make this a semitones. Okay, remember multiples of 12. Let's do 48 there. Okay, let's try that. Sweet. Okay, next thing we're going to do, see you in video 2, or the next video for this, we're going to work on this some more.